Okay, we're gonna call the Civil Service Commission to order. Do a roll call. Can you hear me, Steve?
I can hear you. Yep, absolutely.
Do a roll call. Commissioner Foster,
Here.
and Commissioner Everett. Here. Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Good. Commissioner Stout.
Here.
Excellent. Before we get into our agenda, just want to welcome our newest commissioner, Chantel Taylor.
Thank you.
Really great.
Hi, online.
You want to just briefly say a little bit about your background? I think that'd be appropriate.
Sure, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm thrilled to be here, thrilled to serve the city in this way. I'm an attorney. I've been practicing in public policy, primarily in the healthcare space in Colorado for over 20 years. I'm a DU law grad and started my work in politics on congressional campaigns, and then have served in different capacities through the attorney general and in private practice and in nonprofit space. I have been a longtime Denver resident. I love this city. I've lived and worked in the city since I graduated from CU Boulder back in 1995. And so really, truly is an honor to serve in this way. I currently work for a national membership organization for PAs, for physician assistants, and most recently worked for UC Health, where I did all of their government and regulatory and public policy work. So that's a little bit about me. You can see me every single morning in City Park walking my two very rambunctious rescue dogs. I'm there every day, and at City Park Jazz every Sunday. So yeah, you should. I'm there all the time. So
Well,
thank you. Thank you for the
did I
opportunity.
pronounce your first name right?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
good. I
got it.
I got lucky on
I
that.
get called a lot of things with your name like Chantel, so I respond to pretty much anything.
Great.
Thank
And
you.
then our other guest is Chief of Police Ron Thomas. We look forward to hearing from you a little bit later in the meeting. Thank you. Are there any other guests? Anybody I'm missing? Okay, hope everybody had a chance to review the minutes. Looking for a motion for approval. Please. A motion?
Second.
Okay. There's no additions, deletions, corrections. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay.
Aye.
Those. Okay, motion carries. I don't have any real updates. As a vice president, I'm presiding over this meeting. I hope it's my last one. Just kidding. I don't have any board updates. Does anybody else on the commission have any board updates? Okay, then we'll go right into the executive director's update. Gracie?
Thank you. And before Brandon shares the presentation, I would like to humbly request Commissioner Moore and Commissioner Everett to present outgoing Commissioner Miller with a plaque of appreciation and flowers.
Well, let's just say, I thought we were gonna do that at the end. Yeah, Brian, I personally don't know how to thank you for your leadership. Certainly from my time on the board as the president. I thought you did an outstanding job. I think I told you that many times. Personally, it's a lot of hard work, particularly during the transition period that we were going through. And I think you really set a great direction for us, one that I'm sure we're going to follow. And I just wanted to express my deep appreciation for your friendship and your leadership, and wish you well and as you get back to your business, because I'm sure you spent more time doing this than you ever expected. But thank you. Commissioner Everett or Commissioner Foster or Commissioner Stout, any comments you'd like to make?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment. I think, I appreciate him for everything. Like the newest, well, not newest anymore. But with that, always making sure that I have all the information, texting me, I don't want to say crazy times of the night, but decent hours of the night. And just making sure that I'm informed, make sure I felt like I was part of the commission, and then also championing, the importance of it and making sure that I stay engaged. And so I appreciate her for that. And I appreciate your time and effort, and not only spend time with me, but as the commission as a whole. Thank you.
Commissioner Foster?
Absolutely. Amber, thank you so much for everything. So, it's been great serving with you. But I think you're buying the beers next time we meet up though.
That seems fair. Thank you.
And welcome to Chantel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Commissioner Stout?
Yeah, I just want to say, how appreciative I am of Amber, and I'm so sorry I can't be there because I know, you and I came in together years ago, and I've learned so much from you. I know how much you put into this work, and I cannot express my gratitude. I know current board members and past and future can thank you for so much of the time and effort and work you put into this, and I know we'll be. You'll be buying beers for Steve and I both coming up soon. I think would love to see that. So thank you so much and welcome, Chantel.
Thank you.
So Amber, we have a couple of things for you, if you don't mind coming over here.
Those flyers weren't for cheap.
Welcome to Chief, we appreciate it. We are the commission, just as a token of our gratitude and appreciation. Some flowers, and hope they live a long time.
Here's black. It's the last one. The black. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Right.
One decent,
Oh,
please.
Chantel, come on, take a picture.
Oh, with me in it?
Yeah.
Please.
Nobody.
Ready?
Huh?
Do,
Yeah. You
guys will get photoshopped, didn't you?
yes, I was gonna do that.
Amber, would you like to say anything? Amber, sorry. Would you like to say anything? Great.
Thank you guys. That was really kind. I'm super impressed at how engaged this board has really become, and very grateful for the commissioners for contributing so much time, especially over last year of so much transition. I really hope that this board now has set a tone of the level of engagement that we can maintain from here out, to really deliver.
Get a
what this board is.
get a copy.
Somebody needs to mute their microphone.
We just need to.
Thank you. So that's all.
And then to the staff, we know, I know that it's been a huge amount of transition and just, very grateful for everyone working through, to make such improvements. Greg and I were at the audit committee last week, 2 weeks, last week.
Last week.
Yeah, that's.
And, it was just,
Two, yes.
it was just so evident, how much change has made such great progress for the commission and for this agency. And then to Gracie, thank you for moving to Colorado, and spending time away from your family to come and help us do our jobs and keeping us on time and plugged in. And we're very grateful for all your hard work to really elevate the work of the commission. With that, thank you all. It's been an honor.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, commissioners. And now we proceed to the rest of the executive director's report, please. Thank you, Brandon. So, next slide, please. Just wanted to take a moment. It's mid-year, half of the year is gone, hard to believe, right? And so much changes has gone into our process, all for improvement and with all the best of, efforts and intentions. So I kind of just want to highlight where we're at as of the current. So, and this is just focusing on the police processing side of things, because what's really important to note is that we have worked very closely with Workday representatives to make sure that we built in a reporting mechanism so that our data are not skewed and they're more objective and it's trackable and sustainable long past any of us, right? I think that's really important. And so with a healthy reporting mechanism, it still continues to be a work in progress. Previously, when I first came in about in late August, almost a year from now, or almost a year. The average to process was anywhere between 90 to 180 days. And I say that it was spread. It wasn't like most of them were 4 months or 5 months. It was a spread, time frame. So now happy to report that with the requisition for police, we're spending about 125 days on average from application all the way to the completion of commission deliberation. And I think that Chief, that's an improvement from our first conversation. But the most important thing that I want everyone to take away from this slide is our ability, the commission's ability to really speak to how many days it takes from act to a step, right? And then the days in between those steps so that we can address if there are bottlenecks, if there are concerns, if there are any issues. So again, highlighting workday automation and report enhancement plus process improvement changes have attributed to efficiency gains. We also have improved access to reliable data and more predictable and or trackable outcomes. Now, based on this, we were able to also identify some bottlenecks within our processes that I believe, as time goes by and we continue on our efficiency path, we can address. At polygraph and at background investigations, we did see some sort of bottlenecks that extended from between 3 to 6 weeks, and some were even longer and some were shorter. So that kind of contributed to why we're staying at about 125. But that just, I think it's for any of our stakeholders who are interested, now we can reasonably say how long it takes from application to what step and what steps are involved. Any questions on this side, commissioners?
So are you saying that that there's still room for improvement when it comes to the background investigations and stuff like that?
We're still working on a lot of the process improvements because, we're still heavily working on refining the background investigations manual that hopefully kind of paves the way to a more consistent way of investigating. And then from there, we can then isolate what causes, an investigation longer instead of being very anecdotal in our responses, right? Because you ask anybody investigation wise, even if it's not pre-employment, the days can range, right? Depending on the case that they're handling. But we want to be able to reasonably say at least set some thresholds and standards within that time frame.
Right.
And then plus one of the bottlenecks reasons is not necessarily to anyone's fault, it's just workload volume. The first quarter of the year, keep in mind, we process EMT, fire, and police. And we only have, a small number of background investigators, lieutenant, other areas helped us, but that's still kind of, we still had to go through the training phase.
Sure.
Any other questions? All right, moving on to the next slide. All right, just for, I think a few ED reports ago, we talked about Dylan had presented sort of this a concept about a community facing dashboard. And so just happy to announce that it is now live on the website. We've tweaked a little bit our homepage so that it's no longer the big boxes. It's now like the smaller buttons, and it kind of mimics a little bit of our the web pages on our partners at safety, right? So you'll have those small boxes there for easy navigation, but then you'll have those, Dylan calls them accordion tabs, those tabs, and it has this Community Connect on the first tab, and then the next tab is the DPD recruitment, and then the DFD recruitment. And so what we just really want to highlight on its first iteration is that these dashboards will show candidate population for police, firefighter, and EMT applications received. On the left are visuals of candidate attrition by hiring stage, organized by gender and race or ethnicity, respectively. On the right are visualizations of the complete applicant pool by demographic composition, organized by gender and race, ethnicity, respectively. So these reports will be updated quarterly, with Q1 being the most recent time frame. And so the intent of this is for the community to understand sort of the work that we do, the population of the candidates that we're seeing within our pipeline, because it's so easy to kind of pass judgment on the end results of who we are hiring, right? But we have to understand the population of who we hire is dependent upon the population of who's coming in. And so a lot of those efforts we talked about last week, last meeting, is really sort of working together to increase the diversity within the pipeline so that CSE can can process a little bit more diverse candidates. But this is something that, you know, we want the community to know, and I think interest as well.
Yeah, right.
Questions on this one?
Do they have to register or can just anybody go in and get that?
Anybody, it's right there.
Good.
And then the future iteration, it'll have the total applicant pool, and then we plan to make it more interactive, but, you know, we had to start somewhere, so it's static for now.
Good.
All right. All right, if no other questions, moving on to the next slide. All right, I'm respectfully asking the commissioners to hand out some certificates. With Diana's help, we would like to congratulate some of our team members. So if you recall, in November of last year, we participated, or we actually held a rapid improvement workshop facilitated by Denver Peak Academy. The outcome of that workshop were commitments to process improvement projects. And as process improvement projects become completed, the commitment also was that our staff will be Green Belt certified. And so they have awarded the Green Belt certification recently to Brandon Dorsey, who is out there. So team, you'll get a lanyard and a certificate, and it is in your workday. Janet is working remotely. Jeanette is here. Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
And then Noelle McGregor, thank you so much, Noelle, for helping.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stacy is not here today. We got Stephanie. Noelle, not quite done. And of course, Tammy. So, you know, after blue belt is black belt, so sky's the limit. I think the most important takeaway is, you know, no matter what, change is always difficult, but I think as long as we're willing to, we shall reap the rewards of efficiencies and improvement. So I just really wanted to say congratulations and thank you, team, for hanging in there. I know it's not always easy, 9 times out of 10, but you're here, so thank you, appreciate it.
Congratulations. That's great. That's really great.
Diana participated, but she's on her way to black belt, so she doesn't get it. And she got her green belt before CSE, so.
That's good her.
Yeah. All right. Process improvement, not martial arts. All right. My executive director reports.
Okay. All right. Any other questions on that? And we're gonna get to education-based discipline with the Chief Turner.
Thank you. So I just want to hand, hand around some handouts, and I'll just tell everybody to begin with, this is a very cursory sort of overview of education-based development. We've actually changed the name already based on some thoughtful feedback that we received from, you know, folks like the Office of the Monitor, Monitor Castle online, other groups that we have engaged. So I'll just kind of quickly go over sort of the overview. Certainly answer any questions that anyone has. So education-based development is an alternative to traditional discipline meant to correct behavior through positive discipline measures or methods. The goal is to achieve greater officer knowledge and lower recidivism through individual intervention. I think it's important to acknowledge that accountability is not synonymous with punishment, and education-based development supports our commitment to developing a learning culture, as well as promoting candid discussions about mistakes and expectations, not just department expectations, but community expectations as well. So the history of education-based discipline or education-based development, this is not new. So this is first implemented by LA County Sheriffs in 2009. There's been a number of sheriffs who have taken over that office since then and have not made any substantive changes to the program. There was a study done by the Action Resource Center that found recidivism rates dropped in LA County Sheriff from 25% to 10% over 4 years. And since then, over 60 local, state, and federal agencies, to include DC Metro, Atlanta, Omaha, Houston, and El Paso, have implemented similar programs. I will highlight the fact that ours does distinguish between a number of these programs because a number of these programs actually consider more serious um, uh, forms of misconduct, and ours just focuses specifically on low level misconduct. So the research, I think that there is a strong evidence based rationale to consider education-based development as an effective practice. The corrective approaches focusing on education, coaching, engagement can strengthen individual responsibility, long-term learning, and behavior change, which are key components to accountability. And while I will agree that there's not a large body of rigorous, long-term study in the police world, we are conducting our own study to see if there is a benefit to moving towards this concept. But I would offer that in many other disciplines, business, education, even the criminal justice system, education-based disciplinary development has been effective in changing behaviors. So why is this needed? I think is a reasonable question to ask. And so let me say that, first of all, Denver police officers make literally hundreds of thousands of contacts a year. Those result in a number of citizen complaints. That number of citizen complaints has actually decreased over the last few years. There's a very small percentage of those citizen complaints that are sustained. And of that number of complaints that are sustained, 65% of them discipline that comes from that is either a written or an oral reprimand. If you extend that to cases that result in a discipline of a 1 or 2 day fine, so not a suspension, but just kind of a fine of time, we're talking about 85% of our sustained cases. So that's a overwhelming percentage of our sustained cases that have a very low level of discipline. Problem is that it takes 8 or 9 months to get to that point where there's a resolution to a case. Now, I personally think that that's a long time for a citizen to wait for a resolution to their case, whether they are told that there was no misconduct found, or whether they're told there was misconduct found and an officer would receive some discipline. I think that waiting that period of time is unreasonable. I also think it's unreasonable for the officer to wait that long and then not have an opportunity to even understand what they did wrong and what the expectation from the department or from the community actually is. And so the education-based discipline, I think, very quickly, in a matter of weeks instead of a matter of months, can resolve a case, and then through that education can help that officer understand exactly what the community and what the department expectation is. So I also wanted to share that there was, I would say, some significant stakeholder engagement that took place before I rolled out initial versions of this concept. First engaged my Chiefs Advisory Board. So the Chiefs Advisory Board is 14 community members, members of the business community, several faith-based leaders, members of various minority groups make up this Chiefs Advisory Board, and they meet with me every other month to advise me on policy changes that they think are necessary, things that they would like to see the police department do. I often engage them and ask them about things that I would like to institute and take their feedback on those kinds of things. So that was the first group that I introduced this concept to. They made some recommendations that I considered. The next group that I engaged was Together Colorado. Together Colorado, it's a faith-based organization. And they're actually an organization that has often been critical of the police department. We work with them very well to change a number of our policy. I think probably most notable is our show up policy, where we do show ups for people suspected of the crime. I meet with them on a fairly regular basis, and I present this concept to them. They It was supportive. Made some suggestions, like they suggested that I put on a dashboard, results of education-based discipline or development, which is certainly something I'm going to do. Next, I engaged the Greater Denver Ministerial Alliance. And they generally were supportive, made a few recommendations. After meeting with those three groups, I presented to the mayor's office. Mayor's office asked me to kind of proceed with my concept, at which point I presented my original draft to the incident monitor. Since then, I have engaged 6 different community groups, so going to all 6 police districts and presenting to community groups there. Actually created a QR code where people can scan the QR code, provide feedback, ask questions. Overwhelmingly, I think I got about 1,000 responses. Overwhelmingly, people were supportive of the concept, understood that there was value there. And so, I've just received feedback from the Office of the Independent Monitor. I've got some very thoughtful feedback. I think overwhelming majority of that, of the recommendations I'm going to take to heart and make substantive changes to the program. So just to talk about who is eligible for education-based development. So these are only lower level violations where the presumptive penalty would range from an oral written reprimand to no more than a 1 or 2 day fine. And those infractions would be something like discourtesy, general duties and responsibilities, force of records, rather than careless handling of equipment, evidence and property type violations. And again, that is 65 to 85% of our sustained cases. Now, cases that are ineligible, serious violations where the presumptive penalty is likely to be higher than a minor, but also repeat offenses. So I think it's to acknowledge the fact that if someone has committed an infraction and they go through education-based development, and then they commit the same infraction, well, obviously that didn't really work. And so I think that we need to progress to some other form of discipline. So repeat offenses are not going to be eligible. There's kind of an enumeration of the ineligible offenses. So sexual misconduct, inappropriate force, commission of a deceptive act, assaults to officers, EEO violations, bias motivated incidents. The next page just kind of goes through the process. So this tracks, with our normal internal affairs case process. And so a case would be received, it would go through an intake. That supervisor would conduct an investigation, make a determination whether or not it is eligible for education-based developments. If so, then that gets forwarded to the commander of the Internal Affairs Bureau, and then ultimately is forwarded through the DPD leadership to me if we all think that it's appropriate for education-based discipline. Then what happens is the officer is contacted, they are made the offer, are you willing to go through education-based discipline? If they say yes, then there's a very short period of time where we develop the very specific training that they need to go through. It could be an 8, it could be a 16-hour training that they go through, and then it's done. We resolve that case, and I think very quickly we're able to contact the complainant and resolve it. Now, if it doesn't qualify for education-based development, it goes through the normal investigative process. If the officer declines, if he says, no, I don't want to go through education-based development, then it goes through the normal investigative process. So once an officer agrees to education-based development, they would sign contract, choosing development instead of discipline. If the officer for some reason didn't complete that education-based development, then that case would then again be rerouted through the normal investigative process. Now, I think what's probably most important to this body is how is civil service implicated? And I would say not at all, because first of all, we're talking about lower level forms of infractions that are not infractions that would make someone ineligible to test for civil service rank. It would not result in any kind of, the number of days that make you ineligible to test for any period of time. And so there's no implication there. And then because by agreeing to education-based discipline, they essentially waive their right to appeal, then there's no opportunity for civil service appeal either. So I think that's important to recognize. And then the last couple of pages are just some, just kind of the areas of training based upon the different types of infractions and what we think is most appropriate to, again, help them understand what the department's expectation is and what the community expectation is. Questions? Yes.
Yeah, a few questions. If they choose the EBD, is that something that stays with them in their file, on
yeah.
their record? Will we see that in suitability reviews or anything?
Yeah, so that's a good question. And so everything that is received by Internal Affairs is entered into a case management program called IA Pro. And so the intake would be uploaded into IA Pro, and then anything that happens to it after that point is maintained in that database. And so if it goes through the normal investigative process, obviously all of those results are tracked in that program. If they were to agree to education-based discipline, that is also logged in IA Pro. And so that's why it would be very easy for us to identify that someone has committed this particular infraction before. And I think that, this I think is something that's important to the Office of the Independent Monitor. While it wouldn't necessarily be something that would aggravate a subsequent charge, it would certainly be considered for why we would not mitigate, if that makes sense. We wouldn't consider mitigation. So it wouldn't, typically if someone were to commit an infraction, receive some sort of discipline, whether it be written reprimand or a 1 or 2 day fine, and then they committed another similar infraction, it would bump them up another discipline level. So in this particular instance, because there was actually no sustained finding, it's not going to bump them up to another discipline level, but we do have awareness of it. It would probably negate any opportunity for mitigation.
So if they, you may have answered my question, if they have one infraction, elect this as their disciplinary alternative, are they eligible if they have a second infraction, but also EBD, or?
Well, it depends on
it depends on.
Yeah, good question. It depends on the infraction. So obviously if it's the same type of conduct, but let's say it's discourtesy, maybe this is a bad example, but let's say it's discourtesy, they go through education-based discipline to help them understand, you just can't talk to people like that. And then, 6, 8, 9 months later,
They do.
a similar infraction, we're not going to consider it education-based discipline.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Well, so just to piggyback on her question, so recidivism, the definition, is that repeating the same infraction?
It is.
Or would it also be considered recidivism if they did a different?
So I think the recidivism, as was tracked by LA County Sheriff's, was engaging in the same type of misconduct. Yeah.
Okay.
Certainly, these are all things that we're going to track. I think it's important for us to understand. Not only does this lessen the opportunity they violate this particular policy, but how does it keep them from engaging in other forms of misconduct? So all of these things will be, because I do think it's important. It's, I guess, unfortunate that there's not any kind of a science-based, there's no history of tracking this other than, what the little bit that the LA County Sheriffs have done. Lots of other organizations have gone to this, but they just have not really fed into, any kind of science-based, method for tracking its success.
And that was a lot of information, so I'm sorry, but when did you start this?
We haven't even started.
Or you haven't started?
We haven't started. So I began thinking about this probably a year and a half ago. And the reason why I began thinking about it for two reasons. Number one, because despite the fact that we have fewer filed complaints and fewer sustained complaints, still taking an inordinate amount of time to complete cases. Nobody's to blame for that. But I think too long for people to get resolution, too long for someone who complains against a police officer to get a resolution, and I think too long to make sure an officer understands what the expectation is. And quite frankly, I think that if we can take 65 to 85% of internal affairs caseload, and move that out of the way, they can focus much more on the serious misconduct cases and resolve them even more quickly. And so if we need to really significantly discipline an officer, we can do that much more quickly. If we need to separate from an officer, we can do that much more. But I think there's a lot of reasons why this is something that's important.
And you can do it unilaterally?
Yes, and again, this is not something that, that I wanted to just do just because I thought it was a good idea. I wanted to get a lot of community feedback, which I've done, provided opportunities for the officer, the independent monitor to provide feedback. They've done that. Again, some very thoughtful feedback that I will take to heart. And so, and they have wanted to start this much sooner than ultimately I'll be able to, but at the end of the day, I think we wanted to do it right. And so I think, given all the feedback that we're receiving, I think that we can put something forward that's going to be effective and useful.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
With that, as far as leadership, will there be training around this?
Yes.
Okay. So it's just ensure that leadership knows when it's best to be utilized.
Yes.
Okay. And how to follow up.
Correct.
Great.
Thank you, Chief. I was just wondering from the officer's end, like I understand the value on the back end in terms of processing complaints. What's the incentive for the officer to choose the EBD versus the penalty when, penalty might just be easier, fine, I'll take a half-day fine or whatever. What's if it stays on their record the same? I'm just trying to understand what incentivizes an officer to choose this.
I think a couple things. Number one, I think that I would rather have something resolved in 4 weeks rather than 9 months, because that is going to hang like they
As the officer, you're
as
saying,
the officer. So they get a notice of complaint and they may wait months before they're even interviewed. And then they may wait an even longer period of time before there's a determination made on the case, and all the while that's hanging over their head. And so I think that that officers will be glad to get that, out from over their head. The other is I think that often they're not even exactly sure what they did wrong. Like they know that they got this notice of complaint that says you violated, failure to complete reports. Not exactly sure why there was a report necessary in this particular case or not. And so I think that they would recognize value in someone sitting down with them and telling them, here's what the department expectation is, here's what the rule is, here's how you can ensure that you follow that. And on top of that, here's what the community expectation is. I really do believe that officers want to meet those community expectations.
Thank you.
Sure.
Can I ask you a question as a Denver citizen, not necessarily as the employee? So what is the EBD consist of? Is it like classes? Because these kind of range a little bit. Is it like sitting with a mentor? What?
No. These are classes. So these are officers going to the academy and having a presentation made to them. That we have a professional development team that develops very incident specific training for each officer.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is not, self-paced study. This, this is not go read this book. This is like literally a built training curriculum that is delivered to them in a classroom setting.
Thank you.
The commissioners online, do you have any questions? Anybody else who's joining us virtually, do you have any questions while we have the chief here? Okay, Bob.
Yeah, thank you. Chief, on the process issue, the first element under process is a case investigated by an internal affairs sergeant. Is that a full investigation or is it an attenuated sort of triage investigation to determine whether this matter is?
It begins with the triage, and then there are, in just about every instance, there are witness officers, there are witnesses to the incident that would be contacted, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that this is, one, we want to clearly understand what the violation is. And we want to understand, is this appropriate for education-based discipline? So we don't want to just at face value necessarily decide that that we want to just push this through education-based development. So we want to do some thoroughness behind identifying through a review of the facts. Is this something that, and then, that's the other thing is, it's going to be important to understand all the facts in order to very specifically build the training curriculum.
And will you be considering amending your disciplinary matrix and handbook to clarify the effect of these matters on subsequent discipline?
Sure.
Yeah, because I think that's going to be a big issue. And it feels a bigger item. Thank you.
So if there are no other questions, Chief Clemens, thank you for coming in. Thanks very much for walking us through this, and good luck with implementation. Well, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good to see you. So now we get to the commission review of the candidates. Central, what we do is, once we go through yea or nay on the candidates, should we actually come together, we have to vote in public session, and only we can actually vote virtually. We have to vote virtually as well as vote in person. So, do you have the handout of our votes? Oh, yes.
Always.
I'm new at this.
And Ally will be walking us through today.
Excellent. Okay.
Are you ready for me? Can you hear me okay? Okay. So I am going to read off each candidate and ask if you vote to pass each candidate. Commissioner Taylor will not be voting this meeting. And I'm just going to go in order of the survey, which is Commissioner Moore, Commissioner Stout, Commissioner Foster, and Commissioner Everett. All right, so we have candidate 154058.
No.
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 Candidate 315074.
No.
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 Candidate 352699.
Yes.
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 Candidate 341213.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Candidate 308772.
Yes.
No.
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 Candidate 247196.
Yes.
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 Candidate 219878.
Yes.
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 Candidate 343912.
Yes.
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 Candidate 314646.
Yes.
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 Candidate 342308.
Yes.
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 Candidate 330241.
Yes.
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 Candidate 348230.
Yes.
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 No.
Candidate 324092.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Candidate 358 459.
Yes.
No.
Who's that?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Yes. Yes. I'm one ahead.
Right.
I'm a yes.
Yes.
Okay. So to confirm, Commissioner Moore, that was yes, and then we have a no from Commissioner Stout.
No, I was a yes.
You are a yes. Okay.
I was voting yes. Sorry. I was one
Okay.
ahead.
Cool. And then we have candidate 283633.
And I think you skipped one. Yeah.
Did I? Oh, thank you. We have candidate 358459. Is that where we're at?
337114.
There we go. I'm following. Yes. Candidate 337114. Thank you.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Candidate 283633.
Yes.
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 No.
Candidate 326486.
Yes.
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 No.
Candidate 342236.
Yes.
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 Candidate 336974.
Yes.
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 Candidate 298311.
Yes.
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 Candidate 332453.
Yes.
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 Candidate 278221.
Yes.
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 Candidate 357995.
Yes.
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 Candidate 168835.
Yes.
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 Candidate 341219.
Yes.
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 And then yes, right. Okay. 24 or candidate 272772.
Yes.
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 Candidate 357673.
Yes.
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 Candidate 168182.
Yes.
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 Candidate 340265.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No.
Candidate 308525.
Yes.
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 Candidate 20511.
Yes.
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 No.
Candidate 21171.
Yes.
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 Candidate 328962.
No.
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 Candidate 148042.
Yes.
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 Opposed?
Okay. Candidate 357252.
Yes.
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 Candidate 156869.
I'm gonna vote no.
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 I'm sorry. Okay, let's Commissioner Moore, you said
No.
no. Okay. And then Noah or Commissioner Stout.
No.
Okay. And then
Foster's a no.
Foster's a no. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Everett. Okay. I'm sorry, Commissioner Everett, what was your vote?
It's a no.
No. Okay. Candidate 309899.
Yes.
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 No.
Okay. Candidate 343675.
Yes.
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 Candidate 300027.
Yes.
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 And that concludes the list of our candidates. Thank you.
Actually, there is one I need
There
to
is
correct.
one. Okay.
I think, 3572252.
I think it was 309899.
Okay, 30. Yeah, that was a yes.
That was a yes. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. That's 40 candidates, so. I'm starting to have a pretty hefty
Is
list.
that a normal volume?
It's become, more commonplace. Sometimes we've had as many as 50.
Wow.
Maybe more than that, right, Danny?
Yes. Sorry.
So,
A month or a meeting?
I mean,
yeah, like over a 2-week period. So hopefully there would be some tricks to kind of help you get through it, where you don't have to spend 4 hours. Okay, before we go into executive session, any comments from members of the public? Open mic time. Just in case somebody's trying to unmute their button.
I'm trying to mute mine as fast as humanly possible.
Okay, listen, thank you all for joining us. We're gonna go into executive session. Oh, well, we don't have an executive session. You guys don't have to leave. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, thank you all very much. Appreciate your presence.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.